Hi guys, Steph here. Now, for your viewing pleasure today, what we've got for you is yet another absolutely gorgeous pen. Now, some of you will look at this particular pen and say, Steph, you've actually reviewed this one before. No, I haven't. I've actually reviewed one very similar. Now, the one that I reviewed was a 5253 Onoto fountain pen. Now, what we've got here is an Onoto De La Rue. This particular one may be Onoto the pen, as with the other one. Now, although this is a jade green one, as with the other one, there's some slight differences. Now, I date the pen from sort of like 1930s, maybe 1940s. Now, when they were making these pens, there was obviously some slight differences in the trim and the manufacturer, etc. But as I said, I've actually shown you one of these before, a very similar one, but as I go through I'll show you this. There's a couple of little differences. So as I say, what we've got is an Onoto the pen De La Rue fountain pen. This particular model, I can't tell you which one it is exactly, because in normal circumstances what we find is we've got a barrel imprint, and we also have an imprint to the end of the barrel there on the blind cap. Now, this particular one, there's absolutely no imprints at all. There doesn't look like there was any imprints. It's not as if they were actually worn, because the pen itself is in absolute superb condition. Now, although I say superb condition, you know, one of the things that you'll notice that there's some discoloring to the barrel there and to the very top of the cap. Now, this is one, well, it's actually a jade green. I believe it may have been a celluloid that Onoto made the pens from. And some of you pen people that collect pens and collect, say, Parkers, will notice that the jade green Parker pens also suffer from this discolorization. But all in all, apart from the discolorization, an absolute gorgeous pen. As I say, there's no imprints anywhere. I don't think they've worn off, because the rest of the pen, the gold filled trim, is all in superb condition. There's no wear whatsoever. So let's just call it the Onoto the pen. As we said, this one is a plunger filler. Now, the size of the pen from the top of the cap to the bottom of the barrel is approximately 135 millimeters capped around the barrel. It's a tad over 10 millimeters in diameter. You'll notice to the bottom of the cap there we've got this single gold, sort of quite a thin cap band, and to the above it there you'll notice we've got this, well, it's actually what we term as a ball clip. Now again, this particular one does not have any markings on the clip. So whereas the other one that I showed you had the small De La Rue logo to the very top, this one has nothing. So that sort of matches, if you like, for the rest of the pen having no markings at all. So it may be a sort of a slightly unusual pen. Now, I'll say unusual, it's also one of the rare ones. You'll notice that the difference between this one and the last one I showed you is the clip. You notice this one has what they term as a split cap, i.e. that the clip, if you like, has a clip ring to the very top. This part unscrews and the clip simply sits in between the two pieces. So it's what we call the split cap, and again, a little bit more sought after in the Onoto range. As I just mentioned, you've got the small ring to the bottom of the barrel there, as we said, to the cap band there, and to the very top there we've also got this small ring as well. Now, believe it or not, I'm actually looking through the camera and looking at the discolorization. It's looking sort of quite black on the camera. Now, believe me, it's not actually as bad as it actually shows on this video. It is discolored, but in my opinion, still very presentable. So although it looks quite black, let's maybe try and get you a better view with a light on it. So you can see it's obviously discolored, but believe me, it's not as bad as it actually looks on camera. It's quite a presentable pen in my opinion. The rest of the pen, I've serviced it, superb condition. There's no problems with it at all. Now, if we take the cap off like that, which is a push on, push off cap, let's give you a few little sort of twirls if you like, different views. Absolutely beautiful pen. Now, if we take you up to this section there, you notice like with a lot of these particular models, it's got the long Onoto and slightly tapered section to the very top there. Let's show you the nib. Let's keep it nice and still. And what you'll notice, it has the De La Rue Onoto London, and it's the correct number 3 nib. It'll be interesting to see how it actually writes this particular one. If we give you a sideways view like so, and let's turn it over, show you the feed. You can see it's got quite a standard, sort of quite a plain feed to the back of the nib there. Now, as we said, what we've got is a plunger filler, which simply means that what we do, we unscrew the blind cap to the bottom, and then we just simply pull out the plunger like so. Now, to fill the pen, I've told you numerous times, what we do, we dip the nib in the ink and we just simply push down on the blind cap or the knob at the end of the barrel like so. Okay, I'm sure you people want to see it writing, so again, let's pull out the plunger knob like so, immerse it in the ink, and I'll shut up at this point, see if we can hear the bubbling. Okay, so I don't know if you could actually hear that. There was lots of bubbling going on, which sounds hunky-dory. Let's move the ink to one side. Now, once you've done that, again, this particular pen, it actually fills on the downward stroke only, not by pulling the plunger. Now, what we need to do now at this point is simply screw the plunger as far home as it'll go, and then, because on this particular pen what we've got is the sort of the ink shut-off cone inside the section there which connects to the feed, we need to give it sort of maybe a half turn or a 3/4 turn backwards. So let's bring on some ink, and again, first time it's been written since I've restored it, so let's have a look. So what we have is a Onoto. I'm dating the pen from, I don't know, 1930s to 1940s. As we say, it's the De La Rue, and it's writing as expected with this particular pen and these Onoto pens with a lovely line. And also, as expected, I can feel that on the downward stroke I can actually get quite a broad line, and if I do the sort of the normal figure of 8s, so there you go, as you can see we're getting a lovely, pity my writing's not lovely but there we go, let's do it again. We're getting a lovely variation in this flexi nib. So there's a writing sample. You can see we're getting a nice bit of variation in the line. It's writing very, very nicely with a lovely, I wouldn't say wet, but you know, a nice, lovely writer. And again, with a little bit of flex in the nib. Somebody will really enjoy sort of writing with this particular pen. What we do once we finish it, if we're not using the pen, we simply screw the knob all the way back home, and that will close the shut off, the ink shut off inside the section. So let's place the cap back on. So here we have it, the Onoto, the pen from De La Rue and Company. Somebody will really enjoy this particular pen, so what we're going to do, we're going to try and find a new home for it, somebody that will enjoy it, somebody that will write with it. And as I say, what I've got to tell you is, like I say, this particular discoloring is not as bad as it actually looks on the camera. In my opinion, it's more than acceptable, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So there we have it, the Onoto the pen. I'll shut up because otherwise I'll carry on and carry on. I hope you've enjoyed looking at this pen as much as I enjoy showing them to you. Don't forget, leave a comment. But for now, I'll say bye bye now.